All right, welcome to my student presentation, number 2 for World Lit. I'm doing it on the Way of Kings, in particular Kaladin Stormblast from the book, and my name is Jacob Goodrich. So here's just our diagram that we're looking at, and then our character right there in the middle, or not diagram, but cycle that we're comparing it all to. So yeah, let's get in. So birth, it's kind of just the beginning of his story. He's an adolescent boy. He lives in his hometown, he's always, everything's the same as it's always been. And he also, something that is very prevalent in the book is that he goes back and forth between wanting to be a soldier or to be a surgeon like his father. But he eventually decides to become a surgeon like his father. His call to adventure is when he's reaching his manhood, but it's when his brother is sent to the army and Kaladin volunteers to go with him to protect him. So it was that call to go to a new world, a new experience, something, just so that he could protect his little brother, even though it didn't fit with his plans. So crossing the threshold, let me move this real quick. Crossing the threshold. So for Kaladin, crossing the threshold was he sees battle for the first time, and killing. And his brother is killed as well. And so because of that, he vows to protect and save, because he saw his brother killed. And so in order to do that, he trains harder than anyone else does. He becomes the best with the spear. And he also becomes a leader. He leads men into battle, and his main goal is to protect those men that he leads, to keep their lives safe. Isolation is when his men are killed and one of his superiors betrays him because he wants something that Kaladin had. So his superior has his men killed and then enslaves Kaladin out of mercy for Kaladin. Trials. So Kaladin has many trials. His life is threatened over and over again. He's depressed. He doesn't think that he can do any good. He thinks that anyone he tries to help or care for is killed, ends up dying. So that's kind of a paradigm or a stigma that he has attached to himself. His superiors hate him, and he decides to kill himself. So he's kind of at that state. And then the rebirth happens immediately, I think immediately after he tries to kill himself. Because of various things, he kind of awakens to life around him, to the world. He realizes that he can do good, that he can still fight. He doesn't have to give up. And he realizes that killing himself is taking the easy way out, which is not the right thing to do. So he recommits to protect people and to save people, to fight for what's right. And so he recommits to one thing that he works on in this immediate part of the story is he's trying to save and preserve the lives of a group of slaves that he's with. And for those who know the story, it's the British crew. We're recrossing the threshold. So it's when he's faced with the choice to save his men or to do what's right. So he could either save his men, they could run away, or they could turn back and save a army who was trapped somewhere on a plateau. And he and his men, it wasn't just a decision he made, his men made it as well. They made the decision to turn back and to save this army, to fight for what they knew was right. And also Kaladin has these powers that he accepts. And so he accepts who he is as a person, and then also what he is, the power that he holds and what he can do with it. So that's kind of recrossing the threshold. Experienced state / enlightenment. So they saved the day. They saved this army, and he and his men vow to continue doing what's right, to continue protecting. Kaladin vows to use his power to protect and, for good. And he also kind of begins to realize that he needs to use his powers and to use who he is to help save the world as everything's just kind of crashing down in. So just an overview. Heaven's state of innocence is just where Kaladin, begins, in his status quo where he is. And he goes from there down to underworld or a state of experience where he's just experienced so much. He's had so many things happen in his life, and he's known so many people and lost so many people and been hurt so many times. And so it's just basically just an increase in experiences and knowledge and just everything like that, life experience. So there's that. Here are my sources: the book Brandon Sanderson, and by Brandon Sanderson, The Way of Kings, and then a YouTube video about the hero cycle. Also, I didn't have really any images in this presentation because I couldn't really find any images for this book. I mean, there hasn't been a movie made on it or anything, so I'm hoping I won't get doxxed for that. But yeah, there's my presentation. Thanks for watching, guys.